All right, welcome back to the studio. So, gentlemen in the studio, as we've seen, I mean, it's all over the news now, the mild drama that took place at the Federal High Court yesterday. Well, some minors who were among the End Bad Governance protesters fainted in court as a result of, malnutrition and, so many other possible causes that might come up as regards to the investigation. But first, let me get your reactions, because I feel this is one story that has also, raised a lot of dust and is also gaining, attention from diverse angles. But let me get your reactions. I mean, these are minors. I think they said the lowest is 13 years old. So we have 13, we have 14 and all. Let me just get a reaction before we...
I want to quickly pick one of these lawyers on my Facebook.
Okay.
He's an old lawyer. I think he's an octogenarian.
Okay.
Richard Akinola. Akinola. He said, when children run after masquerade out of excitement, they do it to their innocence. When children throw banters during Yellow Tide, though it is illegal, they do it with excitement. So when you see underage joining some protests in their ignorance, they just flow with the excitement. That's a very good takeaway that I feel, the president and then those his handlers would have looked at that action of those children, and follow through to it, because many of those children, they may not even know what they are doing. Physical observation, what we saw, we are Nigerians. These are young lads. So I don't want to pick a word or join issues with that lawyer, that came on the air to say most of them are graduates, and then some of them are married,
have
and
wives,
some are wives, and the rest of them. What I saw physically are children. Okay, and then I would not want to join issue with my lord, the justice, who decided to give a 10 million naira bail. He's a learned judge, he knows better, but I feel, to me, my views is entirely necessary. Okay, that is uncalled for. So let me thank the Attorney General of the Federation this morning. He had written in a statement to say that they are taking over the matter from the Inspector General of Police and the rest of them. So I want to wait and see, the end of what would come up. But in my recommendation, I want to plead with the president to discontinue this case because of his image. That's my view.
Okay, so regarding the minors issue, the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi had actually said that it seemed yesterday that children above the age of 7 can be charged to court. And according to him, those exempted from criminal liability under the law are children under the age of 7. So he was emphasizing that the arraigned individuals are 13 years and above. So in other words, he was of the opinion that minors can also, be charged and taken court. Let's have Mr. Madulago come in on this.
On what basis was he saying that? If it was his child, would he say that? You see, it's easy. Let me tell you. You see, the sad thing in this country is that people just talk without considering the weight of the things they say. That's a tragedy of misgovernance in this country. What does he know about the law? When you are talking of something as weighty as treason, what do those children understand what treason means? Even if you are going to bring a child to trial, you don't arraign them publicly. You take them to family courts. And the objective will be first to rehabilitate.
Yes, that's what the law says.
Because you will also have to take into consideration whether those children understand the weight of what you're talking about. What is treason? It's everything. And I don't know what this Tinubu administration intends to achieve by going to the extreme in things. Previous governments had actually held themselves back. You just said treasonable felony. We are not jumping to treason. We carry the death penalty. When you start killing your citizens, 40 were already killed in August, start killing your citizens, are you going to rule dead bodies of your citizens? You have been implementing policies, IMF and World Bank policies, that have impoverished people. You heard of the woman who was giving her children chicken feed. If anybody is not moved by that, then you have a dead conscience. And let me tell you, the Almighty will respond to such people at the right time. If they are not moved by the hunger on the streets, people cannot pay. I have a family that withdrew 4 children from school because they couldn't meet up with the school fees. Do they think that all these complaints people are talking about hardship is a joke? Because they have access to easy money, have access to allocation, and then who cares? I ride the expensive cars. One northern governor the other day was displaying the expensive car he bought, in official car, with state funds. And then you now can arrange, you now quoting penal code quoting. Listen to me, you should be ashamed. If your children are crying and you can't give them food, and then you can go and sleep, what kind of mother or mother are you? These people should really bury their heads in shame. That children had to come out to cry that there's hunger in the land. Do you think, look, as adults, we can, to some extent, bear hunger, even though it's biting us. But children cannot. The Constitution says that it shall be the responsibility of government to provide for the well-being and security of the people. That you must do all you can to make sure that your people do not groan out of hunger. You say you're implementing policies. The policies are impoverishing people. Many people, you see people trekking on the roads. People trekking on the roads. It doesn't touch you. People cannot pay rent. People cannot pay school fees. People cannot afford the basic necessities of life. And you are telling me you are implementing reform. Which reforms? Is it reform to send people to their early graves? The answer is no. President Bola Tinubu should actually put a stop to this embarrassing spectacle. It's a disgrace. This country has been brought so low. This is the lowest point since independence. To bring children like that. And then somebody was saying that they were just acting. No problem. When his own child gets into such a situation, people will say the same thing. Have wicked human beings who don't have any conscience. What is all this? Even the rich are crying. Even the rich. At the same time, you remove subsidy. At the same time, you divide the currency by over 1,000. At the same time, you increase electricity subsidies. At this, you now cite Western nations and all of that. Look, all those nations have buffers for when their people cry, they immediately move in to make sure that that is why our people, if you see the hypocrisy in all these things they talk about, that's why our people are Japan. Our people are going to those countries because there are those buffers, there are those safety nets that you are removing from the people. You remove safety nets from them here, and then they run abroad. When they now send money, you call it remittances, and you can quote the Central Bank of Nigeria. Yes, remittances coming. Are you not ashamed? Remittances from people that fled mass deprivation, and you are happy to collect it. Do you think many of those Nigerians who jackpot, I'm telling you, as in their heart of hearts, they would not have left the country. Because some of them, the jobs they're involved in over there, people who had good jobs here, managers, are now cleaners. Managers managers in responsible positions are now doing cleaning jobs. I saw one video of Nigerians in a market in Brazil as porters. They were, pushing carts, and they were very happy. Yes, no, it's not like that. No, let's admit we have failed. These policies have failed, and the better thing now is to have a rethink, and then draw people out of the streets, so that you understand we can get more people employed. The factories are closing down. Many factories, big factories, multinationals that employ thousands of Nigerians are closing down. You know what that means? For each Nigerian that's employed, there are 5 dependents, at 5 dependents.
Minimum.
If any factory is employing 10,000 people, that's 50,000 dependents. Right? Then plus the 10,000, that's 60,000 people being fed. Now that factory closes down, leaves the country. Where are you going to put those 60,000 people? We must ask ourselves hard questions. People cannot even buy drugs. You know, is that bad? And then some criminally minded people are now brazenly faking drugs. Somebody is sick, cannot afford drugs, and then goes to buy fake drugs. Just what will remain of that person? So we must have a rethink. This thing must touch our conscience. This case must be discontinued. Let us go back to the drawing board. Valuing the naira was a very wrong policy. Telling me that you are the naira to find its value. What do you mean? China devalues its currency. Why? Because it has plenty exports to throw out. Where are your exports? You only export oil. You cannot meet your OPEC quota. Now, look at the interesting thing. Saudi Arabia is going very hard because the OPEC ceiling, you know, on production is supposed to end in December. But the indication that OPEC may still extend it. But during Saudi Arabia, now, Donald Trump, right, who is working so hard to become next year's president, has said he will try to increase oil production. So targeting 30 million barrels per day. Saudi Arabia, 12 million barrels per day. Where will Nigeria be left? Nigeria cannot even meet OPEC quota of 2.2 million barrels per day. Right? And then we are now punishing ourselves. Citizens that should actually be gainfully employed. If people are gainfully employed, let me tell you, they won't go to the streets to protest. Because they will put all their energy into their work. Nigerians are hardworking people. Nigerians are resilient people. They are hardworking. But when you don't care, when your policies throw people out of jobs, right? And then you are now saying, why will you protest? Why will you say you are hungry? If you are hungry, be quiet now. Excuse me. That is not it.
Wow. So that's really a lot. I think one of the observations, of course, still back to this in bad governance protesters, especially the minors, was the fact that they looked so lean. You know, some of them already looked so sick. That's even aside from the few that had actually fainted. And, you know, it raised a lot of questions about how they are being treated outside the court. And there were also allegations of it being a form, you know, of torture on protesters. But again, looking at the incident, how do you think this incident reflects the judicial system in Nigeria, looking at the fact that with all of these that has happened, at the end of the day, they had a 10 million naira bail, whatever, on each condition. On each of this
individuals,
yes, young lives, especially the I think the man was most especially.
Yes, I agree.
How does it reflect?
The judiciary, you know, when Madunagu was talking, something came to my mind that, you know, I'm not a lawyer, but what I find very interesting in bail condition in this country is that these days when somebody is taken to court, the clause they give now, one wonders if that clause is inside the constitution as spelled there to give her, let's say, but the law in 1999 says that everybody is proven to be innocent until otherwise by any competent court of jurisdiction. Now, it didn't say that when somebody is charged for treason, it should be used, it should be monetized. These days, I see that some people, they will tell you the bail will be 500 million, 10 million, 100 million, be bringing out every money on the understanding that this person would not be able to pay that money. That's on one side. Now, when you put a condition of that nature and the person is frustrated, are you not thinking that person would look for any means impossible to see that the bail is
and aside from the bail, they had two sureties as well. You
see, so when you, there was a time I went to EFCC and then the person was, you know, charged with 1 or 2 offenses. It has to do with the Security and Exchange Commission. And then I saw that the clause they put there was heavy amount of money as a condition for the charge the court gave. and then they return that person to the EFCC custody. So I begin to wonder, when you give this kind of heavy amount. So I think, but what I want to say is that a law should be spelled out to explain in details what should be a charges on social treason that is not being proven to be guilty. What should be the charges for bail? Nigeria should contest that aspect in the criminal and administration of justice. I don't think anything of such is there. Okay, but every of our bail conditions, we should have, it should be free. Though in the event that we have treason charges or anybody that is found wanting that we already know to be wanted and the rest of them, some little conditions should be, but not somebody that is proved to be innocent and then you are taken to court and then they are now using the court, as a way, to hold people responsible. And that is what the Nigerians are saying. Any little thing when we have election, they will tell you go to court. Any little discussion, or you have a election cases, or you say, okay, after all, when you are done, if you are not happy, go to court. So they begin to make mockery of that process of the judiciary. So I think the judiciary needs to do a lot to prove their independence as an arm of it. That's my view.
Okay.
Well, for me, I think we must, as citizens, and leaders, realize that the only nation we have is Nigeria. I know some of, people in government, they have dual nationalities and all that, so they don't really have this patriotic sense of attachment, to Nigeria. But for many of us, Nigeria is the only country we have. And as such, we want to also appeal once again to those in power, whether in the legislature, whether in the executive or the judiciary, that they must bear their they must bear the responsibilities attached to their offices with an utmost sense of understanding that this nation must not go down. To be honest with you, if citizens come out to protest, it is their legitimate right. It's the legitimate right of citizens, as enshrined in the Constitution. So when the police go and arrest you, say illegal gathering and all of those things, it only tells you that we still want to stay in pre-civilization. We still want to remain in the past. When you go and pick them from the streets and then you arraign them for treason, it only shows that you're not even out to reform people. You don't even want to rehabilitate people. What you just want to do is, if you cry that you are hungry, we will exact the worst punishment possible. We will deal with you. When citizens have such a mindset, you have destroyed the trust between them, the citizens and the leaders. And that's the biggest problem in Nigeria today. Trust deficit. Let the government say today, okay, we are going to do something. People say, not today. I beg you, not today. If government even say we are going to tar this road, even when you see contractors on the site and they want to say, this is a story, don't mind them. After 2 or 3 days, they will disappear. You understand? That trust deficit is the problem. So people in government, whether the federal or state or local government, must be mindful of the things they do to Nigerians. The mind-boggling corruption in the country is a major cause of what, one of the things that led to this end bad governance protest. What is bad governance? When people are not being governed, when people are not being given the benefits they ought to get as of right as being citizens. It's not a privilege. I mean, Nigeria is not a privilege. It's my right. I am a citizen of Nigeria, and you cannot deny me of my right as a citizen. So, you see, I would just once again say, you see this suit, I said it before, because I knew it was going to get to this embarrassing situation. I said it earlier. I said, President, direct the Attorney General Referendum to drop this empire governance. Go back to the drawing board and listen to the cries of the people. When the people are crying, even prominent Nigerians have been saying no. Even your own followers, your own ardent supporters are saying no, that the suffering is too much. In fact, when I see some of the comments of even people who just a little over a year ago were really supporting Bola Tinubu, when I see some of their comments, I feel I didn't support him, I didn't vote for him. You understand? But when I see their comments, I say, For somebody who was so strongly in support to be this agitated, then there's a problem. Now, what have you done? You have taken their support for granted.
Sorry, go and check Joe Ibokwe's comment.
No, is it only Joe Ibokwe?
No,
there are even more. There are more.
Now, one of the things that got me, scared yesterday was when I was watching one of the program on channels, Hard Copy. The chairman House Committee on Public Affairs, came on board yesterday. You know what he said? He said, out of the way they are stealing in this country.
It's another thing.
He said the way they are stealing in this country. He said, asked him, can you tell us for a give an evaluation? He said, just like you are making 10 naira and 7 naira cannot be accounted for.
Is it? It's even as bad as 15 naira.
The chairman of committee on public affairs.
No, the funny thing? He understated it. Let me tell you. You know the problem.
7 naira.
You are making 10 naira. People are stealing 15 naira. You can see the deficit.
They are talking about the 5 naira that is not capital.
Does not yet end. Does not yet end. People are
projection. You see, so when you are having a lot of burden of that magnitude and you are still thinking about all these children. Now, Madunagu said something very instructive, that these children, are minors, and then you should rather check what exactly is prompting these little children with lots of them, in this country, according to National Bureau of Statistics. About 28% of Nigeria's youth, 38% of Nigeria's youth. More than our old generation today. So why are you not going inward to research about what is the problem that is making them to go and carry another man's flag of another country? A friend told me that in the UK, when they said they are going to stop tobacco intakes, tobacco smokers, they want to stop them. So he was initially thinking they are going to use force. They didn't use force. They say, that's your own conventional way, in the way Nigeria does that. They did more advocate. What? He said they are the one that started tobacco smokers are liable to die young.
Printed at the back of the car.
Yeah.
The back. So you can see the concept of advert. They're not holding you that this thing not be given any. It is given, but they respect the fundamental right
of choice. Choice.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay for me. That's all I want to say. But the point is that we are not. We need to do something about the crisis in the country. There is hunger, and I'll tell President Bola Tinubu, please put an end to all of these things. Stop this devaluation of the naira. This floating of the naira is baseless. Is baseless. Nigerians must enjoy subsidies. If there are people who are stealing subsidy money, get them. The security agencies know them. EFCC, ICPC, Special Fraud Unit of Nigeria Police, they know them. Get them tried and jailed. Look, we should not say because of corruption. You say, okay, because people are smuggling fuel to Benin Republic, to Togo, then you now punish us. Why do you have the customs? Why are you paying them? So many checkpoints on the road to the east. Why are you paying them?
What is the justification?
So what you do, okay, fine. If people are interested in taking fuel outside Nigeria, right? Okay, no problem. Come and register as an exporter, and then you build them very well. When you build them, when they look at the the difference between in Nigeria and taking outside, of course, your government will earn money, but they will think twice. But another thing is that also when we blame the government, we ourselves as citizens, we should also do our best to help this nation succeed. But now, on the roads, you have all kinds of task forces. So when people are, when you charter a trailer to bring food stuff from one part of the country to another, and maybe you pay like 1.5 million or 1.7 million, what the driver will pay to produce checkpoints, to military, to police, to even vigilante task force. At the end of the day, when the goods land, when the foodstuff lands in the market, how much will they sell? They will just offload the the cost to the people.
The end users.
And who suffers? All of us suffer. So I think us as Nigerians too, we should have a change of heart. Let's stop this wickedness. Even beyond matter of leaders, also all of us. Let us have a think and stop harming ourselves. And we think, hey, we blame his government. But the ones we are doing ourselves, when you set up produce tax force, you want it. Each local government, you cross from local government to local government, produce tax force, tax force. One driver on Facebook in the video was saying he will pay 700,000, and you are not sure that some people will not hijack that truck and steal it, and steal the things in it. So who are we? Diesel is expensive. Then we are still imposing all these trade charges. Even the governors should also have a rethink. Local government chairman should have a rethink. And then the citizens should also think that, yes, this nation is ours. We need to work together so that we can help ourselves better. But I will appeal that this bad governance and prosecution, like the NSAS, I just want to believe that there's nobody from NSAS that's still in custody, that they've all been released. This bad governance, let's just use it as a wake-up call to have a rethink of how this nation is going. That embarrassing spectacle of yesterday should be a wake-up call. Let us not trifle with the opportunity to step back and think of where we're heading to as a nation.
All right, and with that, we will be wrapping up for today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Olusegun Ario, editor, Urban Express News, and I have Mr. Maduna Agochukemeka, editor, Metro Star newspaper. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for such an insightful discussion today, and I trust and believe that the agencies that are related to all that have been discussed today are also listening, and I'm sure they have gotten all they need to get to work. So thank you so much